The key is to just press play and then roll with it. Life lesson. Hey warrior, welcome to today's video. Today is actually day 1 in this new series I started called 30 Days to End Emotional Eating. Basically, I'm gonna create a bite-sized video for you to watch every single day for the next 30 days to help you take one small step forward towards recovering from emotional eating, binge eating, nighttime overeating, anything that falls into that category. For me, well, let me introduce myself first. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Christine Coen. I am a New York City-based registered dietitian, certified personal trainer. I've been in the industry for 10 or so years now, and I have personally struggled with binge eating, depression, and anxiety, all wrapped up in one nice little box, all at the same time, of course. And I struggled with that a lot throughout my 20s. It is something I consider myself to be recovered from, and I have developed tools that help me work through if I feel like any anxiety coming up or any old thoughts, old habits with binge eating coming up, or even if I feel my mood and my energy start to drop. And now I help people like you, specifically women, because I think women are awesome, to help themselves overcome these same struggles, which is totally possible. And today we're gonna focus on emotional eating. Well, this entire series, we're focusing on emotional eating. And I know for me in my recovery, it was so important to have another positive or different voice in my head kind of guiding me, teaching me, leading me in the direction, because it was so easy for me to get wrapped up in my own negative thoughts. I mean, raise your hand if that's something you're familiar with. I know from working with my clients, it's so common to just like feel like when you take a step back, you just get inundated with your own negative thinking. But having a solid daily podcast or video to watch really helps me shift into a forward stepping mindset. Even if I had binged that day or the day before, I could shift my energy and focus forward. So that's the intention of this. I want you guys to listen to this, and ideally they'll be bite-sized. They'll be less than 10 minutes. That's my plan. So that you can listen to it when you're, like cooking a meal, even sitting and drinking your coffee in the morning, doing chores around the house. If you're able to listen when you're taking a walk, or even an audio version as you're driving in your car, that would be a great way to consume this. So today's topic is going to be, how do I know if I'm emotional eating, and what can I do about it? So emotional eating is using food to feed, fill, or numb your emotions instead of using food to nourish your body. Most of us probably know this, but how do we know if we are doing that? How do we know if the behaviors that we are doing day in and day out, just because they're our habit, are actually getting in our way, keeping us stuck, or just keeping us in that same habit loop over and over and over again, where we feel like, I want to get off the Ferris wheel, I hate this ride, I especially hate getting stuck at the top, fear of heights, I just want to get off the Ferris wheel, but it's not, I don't even know how to open the door, or I don't know how to get out of my car. Do you understand what I'm saying? Good. Random analogies, I know. So, weirdly enough, emotional eating, which can also be called stress eating, but really any emotion can be the trigger for us to all of a sudden start to think, I need food right now. Stress, interestingly, is usually a form of pent up emotion that we have not been able to release. It could be overwhelm, it could be sadness, it could be anger, it could be frustration, or just the feeling of being out of control. And we have that all building up inside of us. But emotional eating can also be triggered by happy emotions or celebratory emotions. It's all about what we have associated the emotion with which emotions we have associated with food. Generally though, I would say they are the emotions that make you feel uncomfortable, that you're trying to numb out or escape from or get some separation from because you don't want to process it, you don't know how to process it, you don't have the tools to process it, and so food becomes the coping mechanism. So, are you using food to stuff your emotions? I have an entire worksheet that goes along with this video because I have a feeling that it's going to go a little bit longer than I thought. So I will have that for a lot of the videos going forward over the next 30 days. But if you want to download the worksheet for this particular video, there's going to be a link right below that you can download and you'll have it sent to your email right away. Because there are about 14 signs that I put together to how to identify if you're using food to emotionally eat. And I want to cover all of them and you to read all of them because some of them are extremely interesting and may not be something you connected. So keep listening. All right. Often people come to me and they say, I'm consuming food really intensely. I'm consuming a lot of it. Am I binge eating? Is binge eating the same thing as emotional eating? What I would say is binge eating is an intensified form of emotional eating. You may use your emotions to binge eat, which would be a large consumption of food eaten compulsively, like you can't seem to stop yourself from doing it. But the root cause, when the root causes aren't addressed, your feelings are going to build and build and build. And so does the action of overeating in response to the emotions. So even if you are not consuming a ton of food, but the behavior and the manner in which you're consuming food at times feels triggered based on emotions and is compulsive, meaning you have this emotional experience and then you immediately just want to go eat because of it, or to, and maybe you don't even know why, right? This is why we're here. It could eventually turn into a binge. I do want to note that you don't have to be eating large quantities of food to be considered emotional eating, but it all comes down to this. If the manner in which you're eating is something that is interfering with your happiness, interfering with your peace of mind, is interfering with your relationship with food in your body, then this is something that you want to dedicate some time to working on. We'll leave it at that. Okay, the first sign that you could be emotionally eating, you eat when you're stressed. Super common, right? When you have work or responsibilities to take care of, or just a ton of things on your plate, no pun intended, you reach for food to maybe accompany you while you're doing the work or while you're doing the chore or the task. You find yourself procrastinating with food. So for instance, okay, I have to do this administration thing, I gotta do this work, I gotta write this email, I gotta pay this bill, and you're like, what's in the fridge? I'm just gonna look what's in the fridge and I'll come back to it later. Or I'm gonna go and eat something right now and I can do that later. And you use food to procrastinate because you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you don't know where to begin, and food just feels like the thing that's gonna help comfort you through that moment. Number 2, you eat in response to emotions. Okay, so the uncomfortable emotions and the comfortable emotions. And listen, these different emotions can fall under different categories per the person. Some people feel really uncomfortable feeling angry. Other people, it is their jam. Anger, they're like, yep, welcome old friend. Hey, let's have a party. Some people can feel uncomfortable feeling happy and joyous because what if this ends? What do I do when this stops? Any emotion can be a trigger, from sad to annoyed to disappointed to happy to lonely, angry, unfulfilled, anxious, tired, bored, celebratory, excited. It doesn't have to just discriminate to the uncomfortable emotions. And you reach for food when you experience a certain emotion. Everyone is different, but the connection here is that there's an emotional trigger to go and grab the food. We're not actually physically hungry at that moment, but the emotion that we're experiencing creates this desire in us, this urge in us, this impulse in us to have some food. Number 3, you seek comfort in food. So I used to binge eat at night, and it was very much emotionally triggered. I would feel lonely at night. It was kind of when the noise of the day, the busyness of the day quieted down, and I was kind of just like faced with the silence and the thoughts in my own head, which at that time were very negative, were very anxious, were very overwhelmed, were very, I just didn't know how to handle or want to handle anything difficult. So to numb that, to close that down, I would eat at night and I would watch TV, and I would do the two of those things together. And it would make me feel comfortable. It would make me feel safe. It would make me feel cozy, which is a lot better feeling than, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I don't even want to have that conversation. I need to change this whole scenario and I don't want to deal with that. So when you feel down, you reach for food to try and pick yourself up. Like you reach for something that's probably carby, maybe a little sweet, salty. Sweet is a big thing for emotional eaters, like ice cream, sweets, candy, chips. And you feel comforted when you have them. You feel better inside. You feel more calm, relaxed. The stress, the anxious feelings dissipate. Number 4, you eat to feel happy. There was a time in my personal experience where the only time I felt happy was when I was thinking about what I was going to eat next or actually eating it. I could feel the just like surge in my emotions that felt happy. I was excited to be eating. It felt really good. And really, interestingly enough, as soon as I stopped eating, like as soon as the meal was done, my joy, my happiness, would drop. I would feel an immediate drop in my mood. I would feel sad that the meal was over. I would feel sad that there was nothing immediately to look forward to. And it was almost like this drug feeling, because if I was to go into the fridge and grab more food at that time, I could have that little boost in my mood back. And I noticed in my recovery, this was also the case. I had to keep reminding myself that even though the meal was over, there was other stuff to look forward to. I could shift in away from this negative mood energy that was just a lingering habit from the past. And I had to really work through it. But that was a lot of conscious work. I had to recognize what was happening and then move through it. We're going to talk about those tools later on this month. So we're still on number 4. You eat to feel happy. You derive the positive emotions from eating, even though eating is nothing more than a neutral activity to keep you alive, to keep you energized. But it does play a role in our hormones. So just like breathing, drinking water, passing, going to the bathroom, it's just an activity that keeps us functioning. So this is entirely different from having an experience of appreciating food as you eat it, of being present, of appreciating the whole experience, of savoring the meal, which is where I am coaching you to go forward towards. What I'm talking about is eating specifically to have a spike in happiness or a spike in mood, which creates this lopsided relationship, because now we're telling ourselves, we're practicing, we're creating evidence to confirm our belief that I need food to make me happy. Where the truth is, We actually don't need anything to make us happy. We create our own happiness within us. So that's just something else to note. Number 5. This is not for everyone, but if you have trouble losing weight because of your eating patterns, where you know what to do, you know technically what you need to do to lose the weight, but your eating patterns are getting in your way. You're not able to make the alterations to the quality of food or the quantity of food that you're eating, and now your emotions are getting in the way. That would be another sign that you are sabotaging yourself through emotional eating. Number 6, you feel like your eating is out of control. So your desire to eat seems like it's taken on a life of its own. The feelings that you experience when you're hungry may be more like anxiety and need to have it now and very urgent, because if you don't, it feels like your head's gonna fall off. Something terrible is going to happen. It feels very survival mode. You feel like it's going to be the end of you if you do not get something now. At times, you might even go out of the way just to get food or just to satisfy a particular craving, even though you're not physically hungry at all. So it is all up here in the mind. Number 7, you think about food often, all the time. You have this preoccupation of thought that's constantly happening in the back of your mind, or maybe even in the forefront of your mind, where you're always thinking about what you can eat next, thinking about what you should eat, thinking about what you're allowed to eat, thinking about what you just ate, thinking about what you're going to eat later on tonight. Even if you are currently eating in that exact moment, you could be eating something and at the same time thinking, oh, I wonder if I can have another one. I wonder what I'm going to be eating later. But you're actually eating now. So it's like you're never in the present moment. It's just this, you're always longing for food. When you're not eating, you notice you're always thinking about it. You're zoned out. When you are eating, you're not even really in the experience. So I notice a lot of that type of patterning. Number 8, you eat or continue to think about food even though you're full or just not hungry. So there's really no need to be physically hungry to emotionally eat. It's usually not the case where you would be physically hungry, but still you would experience this emotional craving to eat. You may also find yourself continuing to eat even if you aren't hungry anymore, or the hunger doesn't go away. Even though your belly's full, you don't feel satisfied. There's that I still want more sort of feeling. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more, and then I'm gonna have you download the worksheet to see the rest of the ones that I wrote out for you. Number 9, you have a food craving and you need to fulfill it now. You need to have it now, otherwise it feels like you're gonna have a meltdown. Okay, it feels extremely uncomfortable. The hunger, notice the air quotes, comes on suddenly. It's like a switch gets flipped and all of a sudden you're like, must have it now. Must have the chocolate, must have the cake, must have the chips. And then this need to eat feels urgent. Physiological hunger, just for comparison, physiological hunger comes on slowly and gradually, and you don't feel like you're going to have a meltdown if you can't get food right in that moment. It's okay to delay the eating. You're like, I'm going to be able to eat in 15 minutes or in 30 minutes or in an hour when I get home. And I know I'm going to be very hungry, but I am not going to like blow my top because I can't get the thing right now. And number 10, you don't know whether you were hungry or not when you ate. It's very common that our hunger hormones called leptin and ghrelin will get imbalanced. They will either be firing at the wrong times, or we become desensitized to feeling our hunger cues and our full cues. So we actually are overriding the hunger cues and the full cues so much so that now we don't even hear them. We're not even aware of them. We forgot what that feels like, or the body is not sending them out. So that is something that we work to getting you back to hearing and listening to and understanding about yourself. Because what is this all about? Learning to tune in, trust yourself, listen to what your body is telling you, and nourishing your body by giving it what it is telling you it needs. So we have 4 more. Because it's going to take a little bit longer, I'm going to have you download the worksheet. So click the link, put your email address in, and it's going to be sent right to your email. There's going to be a video every single day for the next 30 days, all talking about different topics about emotional eating. So continue watching. I'm excited to interact with you guys. Comment below, like this video, and share it if you feel like you know someone who would find value from this. I would love to hear what you got personally from listening to this video. Is emotional eating something that you struggle with? And is it something that you are looking for support with? Please let me know, because I really would love to tailor this series to you. So if you have specific questions or specific topics you'd like me to create a video about, just let me know. So come hang out with me on Instagram stories. You can find me at christine.coen. I'll see you over there, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, warriors.